try with some more Minecraft. Don't look directly at the box. Okay, sounds fun. But it's reaction time on Formula 1. Shit, I need to not plan this. God damn it. That we need to fix.
Hello everybody! Hello
Oh shit, yeah, quite.
Max Verstappen.
Yes, and then we have that, yes. Should I have...
What could I...
Sure. Nope, I don't think we have... Maybe William stuff. I don't know. But it's time for reaction of fuck me, sound. Autosport, what they think about Formula 1. What did I have? Yeah, P1, the race, yeah, everyone. Yeah, what do you say? Big channels, or at least the channels I watch that will talk about Formula 1, and I have more buckets and iron, so it's time for keep collecting the fishes. I need to... Man, what's it? 506? 506. Can that be true? I wrote the title and don't remember what the title is. Okay, can I get to it? Yeah, 506. 506. Yeah, so it's yeah, F1 2024 Miami GP review. London sees his historic maiden win, and yeah, what can you say? I would say amazing to see it. Man, I don't have... feel like I'm not that so much hyped for that, but hey!
Well, there you have.
Maybe because it would be so more amazing to see the... if he did it in Russia, so this could be the second win for him. But hey, he have now at least his first win.
Have it, the first non-Red Bull or Ferrari win since Brazil 2022. Lando Norris finished second.
And this must Mercedes be really happy with. The Mercedes engine that get a win is McLaren and not Mercedes.
8 times and had 15 podiums without winning until now. A DNF in the sprint, but a 16th career F1 podium.
Yeah, And this is, I don't know how much this will happen more, but the first sprint race, Norris do a mistake. In a sprint race, finish that bad, have a good race later, finish P2. Then in Miami, he gets crashed out in a sprint race, and then in the race after, he wins the race. So maybe every time he have a bad sprint race, he will have a really good race.
For him, but more importantly, his first ever win of a Grand Prix. The race, coupled with incidents and penalties galore, was quite the spectacle. Well, here is the result then from the Miami Grand Prix. Well, Lando Norris took his first ever career win, as I say. He was 7.6 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen in second. Then the two Ferrari, Charles Leclerc leading Carlos Sainz home. Then Perez in the second, Red Bull home and hosed in fifth. Lewis Hamilton, a decent result for him in sixth. Yuki Tsunoda, how about that, in the RB home in seventh. George Russell eighth. Fernando Alonso 9. And Esteban Ocon in the Alpine getting that solitary point. Not bad for Alpine. Further afield, well, Oscar Piastri had a bit of a nightmare at the end, finishing 13th. And Daniel Ricciardo equally nightmarish after that great sprint result. He finished 15th. Logan Sargent with a DNF. Well, joining me to talk through what we've just seen in Miami, I'm delighted to have from Miami, Charles Bradley. Well, Charles, I think it's fair to say that was a pretty good Grand Prix, wasn't it?
It's great when you see a...
Yeah, you could say good. Second more stuff. I mean, it was somewhat lame that Max couldn't do anything, but I'm also happy that he also couldn't do anything. So Norris could actually get his win without any problem. But because of that, he become somewhat boring to the finish line. But nothing I will not have. I mean, I'd rather have that, a somewhat boring race, and see Lando Norris in the end win the race than not winning a race.
First time winner in the flesh, winning a track like Miami, you know, the third Miami Grand Prix this year, and we all expected.
And also, he makes the British national anthem can be played. And must Lewis Hamilton be really happy that that George Russell and Norris is the one that made it play for this for the past
Another
years.
Max Verstappen domination. I think that's what we were getting, and then suddenly the safety car turned everything upside down, and the thing was that Lando really grasped that opportunity.
I was slightly concerned when I was watching it. In fact, I've bitten my fingernails down to the nubs watching that there, particularly on the restart after that safety car, because it looked like for a moment that maybe he got it slightly wrong.
Oh my god, yeah, Max, it looks really that Max could have done something, but then it led to nothing.
But he just kept ahead of Max, didn't he? And got the car home as he had to do. But quite phenomenal, really. He finished 7.5 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen. That was a decent haul of seconds. But he also...
Här sitter du och tänker.
No.
Det märks att Max alltid lagar sin mat på beställning. Blinka 2 gånger.
God damn it, go away, Ad. De vill ha second hand also. Man, I dislike that chicken being placed here.
Of seconds, but he also did so well when it comes down to his career as well. His first win, as we say. Let's give some stats, because we always like a stat, don't we? His first career win, that was his 16th podium of his Formula One career, his 110th start. That's the same as Lewis Hamilton raced for McLaren as well. And it kind of looked like a very composed drive from Lando Norris, and I'm sure he ran straight from the car and quickly bought a lottery ticket because all the luck went his way.
Well, he quickly ran, and he ran into all his mechanics in Parc Fermé, didn't he? And did a stage dive. Yeah, I think it was absolutely amazing. The pace he showed after the safety car restart was unbelievable. He really did leave Max in his wake. You know, he's saying fastest lap after fastest lap. I'm not sure that the McLaren guys could quite believe how good the pace was. Of course, we heard from Max that he was really struggling with his front tyres, couldn't get the car to turn, saying it was a disaster. But Lando just made it look so easy. Just needed the clear air. And one thing that struck me, just looking at a replay of the start, actually, obviously Oscar was the McLaren driver who gained the most at the first corner when Sergio did his dive bomb move on the Ferraris in front of him, and it was strange because Lando lost the track position to Oscar. But because he did that, that's why I think they gambled a little bit on the strategy. That's why they ran him so long. And that's when the safety car came out, and Kevin Magnussen did his thing. And I think he needs to buy him a beer in Miami tonight.
Yeah, I've got so many questions to ask about Kevin Magnussen et al. Because I tell you what, Kevin Magnussen, which we will come to, I'm sure, he's got to really, really change his way of driving if he's going to stay in Formula One in 2025. That's my...
I really hope he's not. I hope this is his last season. He really drives like he don't want to be part of Formula One anymore. And also, he maybe knows, so that's maybe why.
Thoughts at this stage, but let's stay with Lando Norris for a second and find out what the team have been saying. I mean, Zach Brown always seems to treat him like he was his son, doesn't he, Lando Norris? But what about the other team, the wider team?
It's exactly the right way to describe it, because they've really nurtured his talent, and I think it was very apparent right from the start that he had a lot going for him. Quite a few people have obviously said that Lando maybe should jump ship. Maybe it's time for him to be Max.
Yeah, Peter Windsor mentioned that. Why did Norris sign for McLaren when he could maybe get a drive from Mercedes? And then Lewis Hamilton leaves for Ferrari. And maybe there could be something Norris could have done. But why would he want to leave Mercedes when Mercedes on Mercedes and he's in McLaren? It's so much better to just stay.
Verstappen's teammate at Red Bull, or jump somewhere else to try and further his career with a more front-running team. But I think the loyalty he's shown to McLaren and I think the love that Zach's shown for him as well. I think, and then the whole team has sort of absolutely opened its arms.
I mean, McLaren can win a race, and where is Mercedes? Oh, nowhere.
Arms welcomed him, and they've all been paid back in their faith in him today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a very, very good drive. He got the luck of the gods shining down on him as well. And it seemed like it was a popular win for the rest of the paddock. There were so many people that came over to congratulate him. Fernando Alonso came across as well, and his good mate Carlos Sainz too. It's nice to see George Russell go over as well and give him a big arm around the shoulder, because George Russell was the last person to win a Grand Prix that wasn't a Ferrari driver or a Red Bull driver. That was 30 Grand Prix ago at Brazil in 2022. So it's quite phenomenal, really. You have to think about how far back we have to go. What did Max say about his weekend? And Max Verstappen came home second, but not a great weekend for him, although I think he'll probably take second on a bad weekend.
Yeah, all weekend he's been complaining about the tyres, and it's one of those situations where you think, oh, he's just having a bit of a moan. He's still on pole position. He's still winning the sprint race. But I think that last stint really did show that the car was struggling. So as soon as he got out of the clean air that you always associate with Max Verstappen, because he always seems to be in the lead. And Max has just been criticising the tyres all weekend, not necessarily because he has a disadvantage, just because of the way it worked with his car or didn't work with his car. He found that they were overheating too readily, and it was a case of if you push these tyres just a little bit, then they just go over an edge, and it's very difficult to bring them back while still doing the lap times that you would wish to do. So I think clean air was really shown by the fact that Lando was able to run away with it at the end. And I was just talking to Alessandro Aluni-Bravi at Sauber, and it was like, our cars today were battling with Daniel Ricciardo. He was 4th yesterday, and today he was nowhere. And it just goes to show that these tyres are just so difficult to get into the window and then stay into the window.
So bad
I think that
racetrack.
was the root of all Max's problems this weekend.
Yeah, and Sergio Perez, I mean, he finished down the order in 5th, and that's just going to reignite the Sergio Perez good enough for a Red Bull seat in 2025. We haven't got time
No, it would not. Why would it?
to discuss the ins and outs of the driver market, of course, but looking a bit further afield, and Logan Sargent, he came up a cropper when a certain Magnussen drove into him. Now, I watched that and I wasn't sure there was going to be any penalty given out at all. I thought maybe it would just go down as race incident, but looking at it, Magnussen got a 10-second penalty. He got 35 seconds in the sprint race. He got 20 seconds in Saudi Arabia. And you look at both Logan Sargent and Kevin Magnussen, and you think maybe, just maybe, 2024 is going to be their last season in Formula One.
Yeah, I mean, with Kevin, it's like he deserves his own chair in the stewards' room. He's in there that often. I caught
Maybe already have one.
up with an old mate of mine, Vitantonio Luzzi, who was the driver steward today, and he was handing him out penalties like confetti, wasn't he, all through the weekend, if you think back to what happened in the sprint race as well. Yeah, and that's the thing, when you're under pressure, and obviously Kevin's trying to do his best. Nico's leaving the team, Nico Hulkenberg, and when you're under pressure, you're going to do everything to try and help the team, and that's what the root of all Kevin's problems seem to have been, that he's always trying to help the team. We saw it against Lewis very entertainingly on Saturday.
No, it wasn't. And man, shitting Lewis Hamilton is the best thing ever, but he get his race ruined by an Haas. Nothing fun with that. I mean, I would rather see him crash out, but that's just because then Kevin Magnussen will also be part of the crash. As long Haas / Kevin Magnussen is still in the race, it will still not be funny if Hamilton just crashed out.
And then today, less entertainingly, because he caused a contact that meant that Logan had quite a big shunt, really. And I feel really sorry for Logan, because it's his home race. He was born just 18 miles, I think, and to go out like that in that fashion was I think it was quite a shame.
Yeah, 10th in the sprint race yesterday for Logan Sargent, but it may be. I don't think it provides the answers that people are looking for him in a contract. No one's going to make any mind up right now, but of course they are looking for consistency, and at the moment Logan Sargent is struggling, and Kevin Magnussen, all he's doing is consistently getting penalty points or penalty seconds added to his race, and that's causing a knock-on effect for him and the team. But looking a bit further afield then, there's an ongoing investigation at the moment between Piastri and Carlos Sainz. The result of that...
Oh shit, yeah. The note, Sainz had now been given a 5-second penalty, therefore drops 5th place from 4th.
Collision was Piastri's rear wing broke.
Yeah, I was just talking to Fred Vasseur, old friend of mine from F3 days, and I asked him about the incident and what his take on it was, and he pointed to what had happened earlier when Piastri made Carlos run long. There was no penalty called on that one, so he felt it was only fair that there should have been no penalty called in this case. You talk about consistency of stewards' decisions. I was talking to Mike Crack from
the one to the racing line, the other one creating a new racing line by doing something new.
Aston Martin just before I came up here, and he said that the rules have kind of changed this year. There's different rules of engagement, and you really have to focus on what the stewards are looking for and looking, as fair or foul. and you've got to stay on top of what they're calling and what they're not calling.
One driver a little bit further afield that had mixed fortunes, you mentioned him a little bit earlier on, was Daniel Ricciardo. Now, he had a great sprint race, finished 4th in the sprint race. You think, what, Daniel Ricciardo? And he went over on team radio and was saying, this is where I like racing, I want to be at the sharp end, this is all brilliant. And then, well, in qualifying, it went horribly wrong out in Q1 and didn't really get much further up the grid during the race. So how could his fortunes have changed so dramatically over a pretty short period of time?
Well, remember, he brought a 3-place grid penalty in from China anyway. We have these new Parc Fermé rules now for the sprint races, where you're effectively allowed to bring one setup for the sprint race and then one setup for the Grand Prix also. So what I assume happened there is that they made quite a radical setup change, knowing that they would qualify probably quite far towards the back, perhaps running let's say a low downforce rear wing, a trimmed out rear wing, so they could make progress in the race. And as I said earlier,
no progress did happen.
Välkommen in till oss på Sportstudion på YouTube.
Nobody cares.
Ended up racing against Saubers instead of racing against, McLarens and Ferraris. So it was quite a change of fortunes for him. But it's on Saturday was a fantastic reminder of just how popular Daniel is, and when he does well, everyone loves to see him doing a fantastic job and reacts to it. And he was absolutely buzzing after that performance. And I know that when he spoke to Mandy from our team after the qualifying, it was just like, can we just talk about the sprint rather than this and how it's going to go in the race today? So it was definitely two very different days for Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah, it certainly was. Now, the final question we'll ask you about is swinging it back round to Red Bull and to Sergio Perez. I don't want to go on too much about Sergio Perez, but that lock-up at the start, turn 1, overshot, locked up, almost took his teammate and a Ferrari out the picture as well. So what's he saying about it, or is he of the same opinion? Don't talk to me about turn 1, talk to me about the rest of the race.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, it was just he just braked too late, didn't he? It was a
did I lose
dive bomb of a move. I think our what we'd have been talking about would have been much higher up the running order, wouldn't it? If he'd taken out Max Verstappen at the first corner, we could have been talking about all sorts of results. It could have been a McLaren 1-2, it could have been a Ferrari 1-2 instead. Sergio, again, driver who's under pressure. He knows he needs to perform. He knows he needs to back up Max.
Under pressure, half, I would say. I think Logan Sargent is so much more under pressure than Perez can ever imagine. So I wouldn't say so much he's under pressure, just he needs to do some
every opportunity. And so far this year, he's been doing a good job. They had so many, 1-2 results. Historically, this is a race he's always excelled at, and led a lot of laps here last year until Max passed him. I think with 10 laps to go, wasn't it? But that's the thing, when the driver's under pressure, and he knows that the Ferrari guys have, both
starting P1, have almost the whole race almost finished for you. You will be the one that wins here, and then you get passed by your teammate that started further back. But like they said, they didn't think that starting on the hard tires and then have medium in the end would be so good. So if Perez had maybe started like that, he could maybe have won the race.
Ferrari guys are in the mix. This was always going to be quite a strategic race, with it being only a one stop. It was surprising that the undercut was always going to be a factor. So having two Ferraris right around Max could have made it a lot more interesting today. So I think Sergio really wanted to get in among them, and he just almost got in among his teammate, didn't he?
He got in among them, properly in among them. Look, it sounds like the party's starting over there in Miami, Charles, so we shall leave it there. But thank you so much. Go off and have an enjoyable evening this evening. Here we go then. Here's how the championship now looks after round 6 in Miami. Well, Max Verstappen, unsurprisingly, leads the way. 136 points for him. He is ahead of his teammate. Yes, Sergio Perez, the number 2, is in second. Then it's the 2 Ferrari, followed by the 2 McLarens. Then you have a bit of a split. George Russell in 7th, Fernando Alonso in 8th in Aston Martin, Lewis Hamilton in 9th.
Lewis Hamilton. So down in the list.
Then Yuki Tsunoda climbing up to 10th place with that great result here today. Lance Stroll in 11th. And then Oliver Behrman still looking pretty decent in 12th in the championship. Looking all the way down there. Still a few drivers yet to score. Albon, Zhou Guanyu, Gasly, Bottas and Sargent. When it comes to the constructors, well, Red Bull lead the way by a bit of a decent margin now. It's growing, isn't it? 237 to 189 over Ferrari in second. McLaren in third. They're cementing their position, aren't they, as the third best team in the championship. Mercedes in fourth. Aston Martin in fifth. Well, if you want a more in-depth look at all things Miami and the Grand Prix, then don't forget to check out the Autosport podcast.
No.
Also, on the subject of podcasts, keep your eyes open for a brand new one, James Allen on F1. This is a really, really exciting series of podcasts, and it all starts with, well, a sad topic, of course. 30 years on from the awful weekend in Imola where 2 drivers lost their lives. James will focus on the legend that is Ayrton Senna. He and his guests will be talking about the life and the legacy of what was a truly incredible driver. James interviews Manish Pandey, the acclaimed writer of the 2010 documentary Senna, as well as Bianca Senna, Ayrton's niece and CEO of the Senna Institute. That'll be out later this week on the Autosport YouTube channel, also wherever you get your podcasts too. Don't forget, the next Grand Prix is in 2 weeks' time from Imola, so we'll bring you all the build-up with the preview episode on the Autosport podcast. We'll also bring you the race review, both this video format and the podcast too. So we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, true. True. Oh my god, so many dashes. Okay, light blue. Wait, what? No light blue. Pink. Do we have pink? Pink, black. Pink, black, lime, lime. There we have lime, lime yellow, lime red. Then we have green lime. There we green. Nice. Then we have coal. Have you any snooper? Snooper, that's spotty. Now should this be suncheck? Okay. Cool. Lewis Hamilton fish, black and lime. black and lime. Nope. Black and lime. No black and lime. Really? Oh my god, how many colors are there? Okay, and then we have cob, red and blue. No. -1. Stupid cyan light gray. Cyan light gray. Oh. Sure. Oh, then we done here. Spotty. Orange light blue. Yes, and then we have lime purple. Yes, lime and purple. Magenta orange. Then we have light gray. Light gray, light gray. Light blue. Really? No light gray. Cyan. Cyan yellow. Yes, so this we go down with -1, so 518. And then we go to the next clip. And that's the P1. The 2024 Miami Grand Prix race review podcast. So let's see if they will give anything interesting to say.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the P1 podcast
No, we got
with
now.
Matt and Tommy. It's Lando Norris's day today, and I cannot believe I'm saying that out loud. Oh my god. Tommy, I have not calmed down. It's been a few hours since the race ended, and I am so happy for Lando Norris and McLaren and all the fans that support them, because what a story, what a moment. I am buzzing.
Yeah, I did not have on my bingo card that Miami would deliver a good sprint and a good race. And I said this after the, during the celebrations and stuff, Formula One needed that. It was great to see. It was a great story, great race as well. And
Did Formula One really needed that? I don't believe that. Why would it need that? When the Carlos Sainz have already won a race. With then also Max Verstappen DNF, so why would the Formula One actually need that?
Yeah, the celebrations afterwards were amazing, but we'll get into it because it was just great. It was
This
just
I would say it can make the rest of the season more easily to be watched maybe for other people, knowing that at least red and grey, so close to red and blue. It makes people think, okay, Max Verstappen have now won 15 races, at least Norris have won 1 race.
so wholesome and wonderful.
So we're going to start with my most memorable moment. And it was, of course, Lando Norris winning.
No.
Of course. How could it not be?
You could say Max Verstappen going in the pit early. And then when a safety car comes out, Norris is not behind the safety car. And still, or rather the safety car is behind Norris. And then Norris do a pit stop without any problems. And then the first corner with Max Verstappen didn't lead to anything. And then Max Verstappen not getting Max Verstappen getting further away Norris. Can't keep up with Norris. Yeah, and Norris still in the lead, and then he wins. So from that to the end, I would say you can say it's a memorable moment.
I said it a little bit in funniest tweets, but for those of you that haven't seen that, Lando
I've
Norris
seen it.
got a lot of unfair criticism for, well, mainly his record, his unwanted record of most podiums without a victory. Now, I would say that some of the criticism he received recently of moments in qualifying, whatever, where he's potentially thrown it away. Let's think of, of course, the sprint in China and turn 1 there. Yes, Lando has made mistakes. However, it did not warrant people to question whether his ability was to put him in the realms of the top drivers on the grid. He absolutely does deserve to be there, and today is a reassurance for those that weren't convinced after Russia. I was convinced after Russia that he had the minerals. It was a 50-50 gamble that didn't pay off. Today, he had the car, he had the tyres, and he drove away from Max Verstappen. It wasn't a deal.
But you could say he need more help to make a car good. He need more stuff to be perfect. Like Alonso, do he need a perfect car to succeed good in the race? No. But a good car can really help. Like Lewis Hamilton maybe show a lot. He needs a good car to be super good. But a bad car will not make anything good for him.
DRS battle, it wasn't close. Lando dominated, and quite frankly, I'm sick of it. I was hoping for like a little side-by-side battle or something, but instead, Lando decided to drive away and give us a boring end to the race.
Yeah, it's the Lewis Hamilton meme of like, will Lando Norris dominance bore fans? But it was surprising, and what I will say is what a way for Lando to get that first win as well. He's done it.
It will be more amazing the Russia race. Every lap against Lewis Hamilton, and then he wins. This was maybe more interesting. He didn't start in the top, but then arrived in the top, got a nice pit stop, and then just cruised to a victory. But the Russia one will always be the most amazing one to win from.
In a race where Verstappen was there. He raced Max Verstappen.
Yeah, and in Russia, Hamilton was there in a Mercedes.
At the end, Max didn't have a problem or anything. He's just inherited. It's not a race where he's run obviously P2, behind Max Verstappen so many times. He's finished P2 in so many races, and it's not even a race. Yes, he was obviously got a bit of good fortune with the safety car, but he had amazing pace, and he ended up in that one-on-one fight with Max Verstappen at the end. And for all the criticism,
I mean, was that really a fight? Max wasn't even close to even get past him, or even go alongside him. So it was never a fight. When the first corner was over, it was never a fight later, or after that. So what do you mean? What fight are you talking about?
that he gets about not being able to win a race, and he'll bottle it in the big moments. Another thing is the fact that Verstappen, he's also got a lot of criticism that Verstappen would basically dominate. Like if Verstappen was like leading the race, Lando has been sort of like lets him go a lot and doesn't really defend him, and he beat him in a fair fight at the end there. So it was really good to watch.
If you're too busy to make a healthy breakfast every day,
man.
this is for you. My mornings can be crazy. I always skip breakfast, have a coffee, and regret it later. But with Plenty Bar, I get to eat a healthy meal even when I'm in a hurry. It's a tasty grab-and-go meal bar that takes zero preparation, costs only €2.76 per meal, and has all the nutrients I need to keep me full until lunch. I mean, look at this thing. It's literally twice the size of regular bars. It has 20 grams of plant protein, fiber, probiotics, and 26 vitamins and nutrients. And I get to choose a different flavor every day, so it never gets boring. So if you want a quick, healthy, and delicious breakfast, you have to try Plenty Bar.
Igår kväll gav jag en skandig en stjärna och stjärnan svarade.
Jag tror någon försöker hota mig.
Jag måste
Quite rightly so. He only does not defend when there is no reason to defend, just like every driver on the grid decides to not defend, unless you're Kevin Magnussen this weekend. Kevin Magnussen was defending everything for his life or fighting for P19 like it was for the World Championship. But usually drivers will think, no, my race is longer than this, it's my race with the cars behind or whatever it might be. But Lando would have fought tooth and nail for that, but didn't need to, because Max not only fell behind Lando when the safety car came out, but also didn't have fresh tyres compared to Lando. So,
or even pace to even do anything. So, come on.
First question, DJ Ferrari F1. Would Norris have won without the safety car? He had better race pace than Verstappen, but was it enough to catch and pass him and the others in front?
That will be the most amazing race ever. Seeing Norris be P2 and just slowly trying to get past Max Verstappen.
I do not believe that he would have won the race had he not had the safety car to benefit him. It was only a 9-second pit stop when you have the safety car out, which is not a lot of time that you lose when that's out there. He would have fallen behind the likes of Charles Leclerc. He would have fallen behind maybe even Sainz and Piastri, but of course Piastri had that issue. Would he have flown through? I'm not so sure. I think obviously he would have had better race pace, but we saw that he had better race pace than Sergio Perez. And it took him it took Perez literally pitting for him to then get some clean air and put some good speed in. So I would hazard a guess and say no, I don't think he would have won, and we would have been sat here going.
But would it be amazing to see him if he succeeded?
Oh, if it had gone a bit better for Lando, he had some good pace. He could have won this race if he'd maybe been in Piastri's position. But instead, him going a little bit longer and being that second McLaren at the time worked out beautifully for him.
Yeah, it's actually pretty wild that his first win came in a race where no one was really calling it. You know, he's had the brilliant moments where he's got a pole position or he's been on the front row, and you end up kind of thinking that that's Lando Norris's time to shine. But the fact that he didn't, he delivered when that was, kind of unexpectedly. I think throughout the whole race, if anything, we were looking at like, oh, Piastri, can Piastri win this? And then when Lando is, he looked like he was sort of biding his time, and you could tell that he was sort of saving his tyres and hoping for a Magnussen miracle, which he got. But this is what you have to do in Formula One. You have to think of the bigger picture, and he went long, and it worked out. But I don't think he would have won without the safety car. But that's not to take anything away from the victory.
No, it's more just the fact that Miami was quite difficult to pass. We saw that it was. We did have a lot of action. I will be fair and say that Miami did actually produce a lot more than we expected. But with how high the temperatures were and how sensitive and fragile the tyres were to the temperatures, I think that Lando following.
What's the difficulty to pass by who? A bad car against another bad car? A good car against a bad car? A bad car against a good car? What?
The Ferraris, and then trying to get through on Max, I think it would have been a little bit too much to ask from him. Next question, Pamcat30. Are you going to talk about the massive safety car mistake? Picked up the wrong car, which was Verstappen in second place. Let Lando go from a 11-second lead to over 30 seconds. Now this, thankfully, I think for the FIA, didn't affect the race. But myself and Tommy, the pit stop strategy extraordinaires on the pit wall, thought that perhaps if McLaren had a fresh set of mediums or a usable set of mediums, now I don't have anything confirmed that they didn't have it, but they'd pitted with Lando, put him onto the hards, which then ticks off the you've used 2 different dry compounds of tyres. He could have, with that 30-second lead he then received because of the FIA getting it wrong, pitted again, put back on the mediums, and then won by 30 seconds perhaps. I'm convinced that that medium tyre would have worked beautifully. That's why McLaren, they made the right decision by going long on those mediums, because he was going quicker than Max Verstappen on fresh hards. That McLaren was absolutely rapid on those yellow wall tyres. Now, that being said, it didn't happen. Therefore, there's no uproar here, because I wonder as well if Verstappen fans would have then questioned, well, if Lando had to stay on the hards, what's to say that Max couldn't have won that race? So they were saved their blushes, I think, with that one, because it didn't really change anything.
Yeah, I would be interested to see what would happen with if he'd have gone into the pits, the safety car had not basically blocked Max and set him at a safety car speed, which meant Lando could easily get ahead. I wonder if Lando would have got in the pack or not. I'm sure that's the kind of thing that we'll see in post-race kind of analysis and stuff where people work it out.
Yeah. I wonder why not wait with the safety car and just let everyone pass in the first place, and then after everyone has passed, you then drive out,
like on F1 TV and things like that, because it would be interesting to see if he would have kind of slotted back into the pack, which would have obviously made it a lot more difficult. But yeah, we joked about this in the watch-along that maybe it was just the safety car driver so used to picking up Max thinking he's leading that they're like, oh, Max must be in the lead, and it was very, very odd.
It was strange, but as I say, thankfully nothing really changed as far as we could see. Next question.
I mean, come on, something really changed. They didn't pick up the right driver, so that's already a change. The driver then could drive without the safety car, so that's also a change. And you saw how much further away he was the other drivers, so that also is a change. So stop acting like nothing changed when everything actually changed.
He's leading that they're like, oh, Max must be in the lead. And it was, very, very odd.
It was strange, but as I say, thankfully nothing really changed as far as
I mentioned everything that changed.
We could see. Next question, Jan Trebasic.
Yeah, stuff that you could see.
Obviously, McLaren was lucky with the safety car and the Red Bull didn't work at all, but still, the McLaren was the fastest car in the race with the upgrades. Does this mean championship back on, Red Bull versus McLaren? I would hesitate to go as far as that. I would say that a lot of signs point to it being at least promising. But let's not forget that Miami, very unique track, constantly dusty and offline it's terrible when all the drivers were struggling pretty much throughout the weekend. Throw in massively high track temperatures as well, wind gusting. There was a lot of factors that made Miami very difficult. So what I will say is that it's very difficult to maybe measure how good those McLaren upgrades are. However, I'm prefacing all of this stuff, but I'm also going, yes, championship back on, Lando Norris to win the world championship.
True.
That's the kind of, I'm trying so hard to press the brakes slightly on that, but I'm thinking Silverstone. I'm thinking, I don't know, other mid to high speed tracks perhaps.
Maybe even the next race.
It's promising. Imola next, if they can qualify well. We'll have to see. Let's see what qualifying brings in Imola. If McLaren are right up there again, we can start waving our McLaren flags. Charles Leclerc who?
I do think, while I'm not going to jump on it and say, yeah, like McLaren now have the best car and Red Bull are washed, I do think that race highlighted maybe the fact that this Red Bull is not an absolute dominant, like...
Yeah, if the racetrack are bad for them, yes.
Bulletproof, is it?
It's not a 2014 Mercedes, it's not a 1988 McLaren.
Also, it was also a sprint race. Fucking act like you know anything that happened in the weekend.
Or something where you're just going to win so easily every race. And it isn't bulletproof, like you say. Max genuinely wasn't pulling away from Oscar at the start. We know that was the case now, because at the start you were kind of thinking, as soon as the pit stops start coming in, he'll start pulling up a lead and start to increase that gap. And also,
I don't know how true this is, but Red Bull could have made a mistake by pitting him so early.
But it didn't happen. And I think I'm not going to say that championship back on and all that. It would take a big stretch, but I do think it is going to be more intriguing now, and I think there will be opportunities to beat Max Verstappen. I don't think he's going to be untouchable and will be like needing essentially the only way you're ever going to win is a Singapore or him having a brake fire now.
McConnell,
because the car isn't miles ahead of the pack, and particularly not McLaren.
Absolutely not. Exciting times. Maybe, just maybe, this isn't a flash in the pan. I'm so ready for it if it's the case. Let's throw in Ferrari as well. Let's not forget them. Come on, here we go. And also...
But you forgot Mercedes. Don't you believe in them? The Mercedes hype. Man, so many fishes I've gotten.
I think, as we've just mentioned, Oscar, I think we should definitely throw him in there. And there's a question from Wynando Torres. Do you think after the Lando win, Oscar will get us win soon, maybe even this season?
Hopefully.
Now, I want to say, first and foremost, Oscar Piastri did an absolutely sensational job today. Of course, very unlucky with Carlos Sainz, who slid into his front wing, ruined his race. But up until
Sainz can apparently not get past people without ruining someone else's race. Feels like that's
that
his
point.
standard.
He was driving. That Oscar Piastri was driving like someone I've not seen, I don't think, since he's joined Formula One. He has had incredible qualifying sessions. He's won the Qatar sprint because, of course, he put himself in that position. But I would say, hands down, that race he did was easily the most impressive he's been. Being right in the mix, 3 seconds off Max pretty much the entirety of that first stint. And he was doing everything he needed to be on the podium at the very least. So for me, if this is, again, with a few upgrades, I think he had half the upgrades of what Lando did. If this is now a step forward for McLaren and step forward maybe for Oscar and his confidence in the races and being able to keep the tyres in a good window. And let's not forget, Miami was so fragile with how hot the temperatures were. You had to be very careful with them to keep them in a good operating window. And Oscar did that. So for me, let's see. Perhaps it just worked for Oscar this weekend, but I would like to think that he's maybe got a bit of a handle on it.
I think that was the best Grand Prix he's had in terms of, like you say, like a full-length race. Really, really impressive from him. And yeah, the fact that he didn't have all the upgrades and was at the start, he was the one that was battling Max and fighting at the front. It is incredibly unlucky.
I mean, fighting. It was not close to any fight. Come on. When is that a definition of fight? You say Kevin Magnussen and Hamilton, that was a fight. And now you're saying that what Piastri did with Max Verstappen is also a fight. I mean, you must be lying. The both can't be a fight.
That his race unravelled. It was incredibly unfair. What I will say is, oh my word, I've never shouted so loud as to when Oscar was dive bombing people and going for moves at the end, because because of the narrative around Lando and how sort of unfortunate it's been, and you're hoping he's got that first win. It felt like a very long race at the end when you knew he was in an amazing position, and every single incident you're like, well, another safety car restart and Max could have him.
Nope.
And instead you watch, of all people, if Oscar had been the one that bought a safety car restart and then Max had got him, it would have been absolutely horrendous,
especially with him fighting for P16 or something. It was just...
Yeah. What I will say, actually, that we've not actually mentioned is that safety car restart, and I thought he'd blown it straight away because he did not get a good run at all. But he did redeem himself by covering the inside, being forceful, and he knew that Max then wouldn't be able to pass him in that twisty section because he's not Kevin Magnussen and doesn't go for those gaps.
He was a lucky boy, though. Of course, he knows where turn 1 is. It's not a long run down there. But had it been a longer run down towards turn 1, I think Lando was in trouble.
Yeah, big time.
The fact that he didn't just back the pack up and go out of the I mean, I'm speaking like I'm a Formula 1 driver, but we've seen it in the past. You go a little bit earlier than that. But Lando seemed to almost copy what Max does at other tracks, where he crawls all the way to the line and then bolts.
So you can't get slipstream.
Yeah, but Lando kind of went straight after the corner.
Oh, that I would say, it looked really like Max was really preparing to make some moves on, because he did like he almost always done when he had someone before him trying to be close to him. And then he also was when Norris started, and he felt like, oh no, will Max take the lead because of this? And then the first corner happens, and Max doesn't get past, and then it was just cruising to finish line.
Corner, and Max was sat there going, oh, lovely, little bit of slipstream here we go, a little bit of a chance down towards turn 1, which he should never have got. But
Verstappen was probably like, mate, that's not going to work on me.
Yes, exactly. But he still didn't get through, so thankfully for Lando. Question from P1 Patreon member James BWFC22. Is this one of, if not the most wholesome win ever? Yes. Everyone in the pits seems so proud of Lando finally winning. It's certainly up there. I was emotional. I could feel tears in my eyes when we were watching it on the watch along. It was just such a special moment, I think, for Lando, who you could see his reaction, his emotion. It's what the sport needed. It's what Formula One needed as a whole, with the fans and everybody. I think it almost was a bit of a climax in some ways for everybody, in terms of just, you know, Max has dominated for so long, and having a new winner like Lando winning was just such a special moment. And to see everybody cheering, McLaren as well, such a well-loved team, it all just came together as just one very special moment. Lando, of course, everyone remembering Russia and how that was torn away from him. And yeah, I don't think there were many people that weren't happy for him. And if you are one of those people, you need to look at yourself in the mirror.
Yes.
Oh, so you're looking every day in the mirror? No.
Indeed. It reminded me of that meme, I said it on the watch along, where I don't know what TV show it's from, but I think he's the president of the US, and he's like shaking hands with everyone. A lot of people like change it to be like, this is this person, because it was literally where like Lando got out the car and then it's like, oh yeah, he's really good friends with Verstappen, I think he'll be really pleased for him. And then it was like, you know, Lewis came up to him and gave like clapped him or whatever, and then you saw Charles, who's really good mates with him, and then George is really good mates with him, and Danny Rick is really good mates with him. So you just basically saw like every driver's reaction to like him winning, which was really, really cool, because I just love those moments in Formula One, especially the fact that it's been a long time coming as well, and he is a really popular driver, and the other drivers know his talent as well. You know, we've joked about how the fact that like some Twitter people, armchair experts or whatever
Lewis
can be like,
Hamilton's fans.
oh, Lando's so washed and he's a terrible driver. People like Lewis Hamilton have like praised him his whole career, and Lewis Hamilton is a lot better judging of a driver's talent than someone on Twitter. So it was great to see.
Yeah, and then everyone sort of feeding that there's this beef between Lando and Lewis and all this sort of stuff from comments Lando's.
Ja, och äntligen är årets sommarkaffe.
Go away. Do you really believe Lewis Hamilton actually care about Norris? I feel like he would care so much more if someone else was that good. Oh.
Lewis and all this sort of stuff from comments Lando said, and then you see the onboard of Hamilton just going alongside Lando.
Did you hear the radio as well?
Giving it an applause and everything.
He got told when he got told on the radio that Lando won. He was like, "Oh, that's awesome!" Like he was like really.
Why did he say it such a lame way? Does that sound like someone really happy for that? Sounds like someone that, oh, nice, good. Wow.
Really
cool.
Pleased.
Yeah,
and
really
that's what I love about when you get like those first wins. It's those moments where you get to, you know, watch them celebrate it. It's really cool.
Now, I will also mention, which I've just seen, which is quite funny, that speaking of, you know, safety cars and would Max have still won and whatnot, I don't know what the question was that Max was asked, but I imagine it's around the safety car and whether he would have won and all that sort of stuff. And Max replied, "If my mum had balls, she would be my dad."
That is absolutely superb. Wow.
Oh God! I just saw it and I was like, I have to mention that.
That is brilliant. Fair play.
And
to
Lando
him.
and Charles were laughing their heads off.
That is amazing.
Post-race presser. So
fair play to Max for saying that as well, because he could have quite easily.
He could have said, "Yeah, we would have won."
Yeah, we would have won, and like tried to like take it away from Lando a bit and stuff.
No. Yeah, he was just like, it's part of racing. It just sometimes happens and that sort of stuff. So. Love that from Max, and it was so funny as well to see after the race that he genuinely looked happier for Lando to win than when.
Also, more happy when Sergio Perez won. Also,
he wins.
Yeah, it's true.
He literally looked more chuffed to see Lando winning. But yes, so that pretty much sums up my most memorable moment and all the McLaren Lando Norris stuff. Tommy, what's yours? What's your most memorable moment?
My most memorable moment is about Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez and that absolutely wild moment at turn one. Not just that, but also Verstappen's reaction, which as soon as it happened, I was just like not wanting to wish away the race, but I was like, I need him in the cool down room to react to this immediately, because you knew it would be a great reaction. After his reaction to watching Stroll and Ricciardo, you knew, and you could tell as well that I don't think he knew that even happened. I don't think he was aware of how close. He wouldn't have had a clue.
Shocked.
So he watched it and he was literally just like taken back. It was the perfect reaction. It was so funny.
At the picture.
It's so good.
There was the funniest zoom in of Max's face.
It's so
like literally
good.
Like this. It's
absolutely amazing. But also just the incident itself, like, is unbelievable how he managed to avoid him. It was one of those things where how different the race could have gone if Perez had just wiped into the side of Verstappen. I can't believe after that moment Max didn't end up winning, because it was kind of like one of those moments where you watch it and go, God, Max is never not winning again, is he? Because he's just missed that by 0.2 of a millimetre or whatever, because it was so close. And not only you know how that would have happened to Max's race, just think the narrative of Sergio Perez going into a week break, of him taking Verstappen out of the Grand Prix at turn 1, and how that would have affected his future and who's going to get the Red Bull seat and stuff. That would be...
The conversations would have been wild.
Would have been huge.
Yes, for sure. But thankfully for him, he got away with it. I imagine Max probably would have a word or two
I think more
to say
luck
about
than
that.
judgment.
Or just Verstappen will have done a new blog about it.
Yes. Question from Ra Design. Which do you think happens first? K-Mag gets 12 penalty points and suspended, or Logan Sargent loses his seat? I think Kevin Magnussen said this on Funniest Tweets. I reckon he's got an important birthday coming up. Whether it's his wife, one of his children. He tried to get Imola off, I think, because he drove like a man possessed. I imagine, I haven't seen confirmation, but I imagine he'll be up to 11 penalty points now after he was on 8, and then he's wiped out Logan Sargent. If he's not getting 3 for that, then something is very wrong with the FIA penalty point system.
Or they just hate Alonso.
Well, there is that, and Alonso is very convinced that is the case. So,
I mean, is the British price not true?
So I would put my money on K-Mag getting 12 penalty points. However, we've never seen it before, and we have discussed in the past that the FIA will do anything to not ban a driver, and they'll bottle it, and they'll actually, K-Mag, I know you've absolutely destroyed Alex Albon into turn 1 at Imola, but we are going to remove 2 penalty points because we feel like you've learnt something this time. It is a bit of a difficult one, but if anyone's going to get 12 penalty points, it will be K-Mag.
While I kind of love Kevin Magnussen for his and the fact that he does entertain and he goes for moves,
he doesn't.
That whole weekend is a proper case of if he doesn't get a race ban, no one is ever getting a race ban, because the whole point of a race ban and penalty points is it's to stop repeat offending, and he has done it not even like repeat offending throughout a season. He's done it throughout a weekend, throughout one race. He has just racked up so many penalty points, and you think as well, like everything that happened, and this is a debate that we didn't get into in the sprint, and I think one that would change a lot with time penalties, because I think it's making a mockery of time penalties what Magnussen's doing now.
Wait, what do you mean? Is that a problem now? Didn't you have such a much talking point that it wasn't a problem?
Is that there is no consequence because he just gets all these penalties. It seems like he only got 3 penalty points for that for yesterday, which is absolutely outrageous how that can be the same as Alonso for his move on sights in the sprint, when he did multiple things, drove off the track, cut the corner, crashed into the side of Hamilton, dangerous driving, and then for him to then go into the race and make a really reckless move and crash, and then he also got something like he didn't serve his penalty properly as well. He was under investigation for that.
Purple brown.
How are you not banning him? I don't want to see a driver banned. But the whole law of this surely is that is to stop people driving like that, and he has just basically taken the mick if he doesn't get a race ban, because it is the whole point of it is meant to stop you basically just taking the beep, and it's exactly what he's doing all weekend.
So Tommy, decide K-Mag or Logan Sargent. K-Mag getting 12 points or Logan Sargent losing his seat?
Logan Sargent loses his seat because I don't think that
I'm
still on that hype train that the FIA will bottle it if they have to suspend.
No, I believe more that they will actually, because he had done so much. I mean, it's different between Gasly or someone else that maybe did offensive, I mean, like maybe track limit stuff that nobody cares about. He's someone that are crashing in the race. Of course, they must ban him. Now, if they care so much about the public opinion, they should just ban him.
And the driver, they'll never do it.
Okay.
They will.
Wow, we will see. Depends how bad K-Mag gets in Imola when he's blocking everybody for Hulkenberg for 10th place again. Next question, Annalise Cameron. Should Sainz get a penalty for the collision with Oscar?
Yes.
Well, as of right now, I don't think there's been a decision because it was being investigated after the race, as far as I was concerned. Is that right? Yeah.
Yep.
So for me, yes, he should get a penalty because he was out of control, slid, and literally ripped off his front wing. So for me, it's pretty slam dunk that Carlos has misjudged it. It wasn't a K-Mag kind of move, but I also think that it's deserving of a penalty. To add on to this, I'm very surprised that Carlos Sainz is saying that he would have won the race had he stopped when the safety car, if he'd stopped just after the safety car came out. I'm not sure where the Ferrari pace was to beat Lando Norris today, but alas, Sainz, I believe, was not too happy with Oscar Piastri either. Let's not forget that there was a incident earlier on into the dreaded K-Mag. Well, the K-Mag Lewis Hamilton, Nico Hulkenberg Lewis Hamilton corner. Basically, most things that kicked off was in that corner, and Sainz was trying to bargain, saying, "Look, if he gives me the position back, then McLaren won't get a penalty. Tell McLaren that." All this sort of stuff. It was quite a strange way of trying to get that position.
It was. Oscar's was a bit cheeky, but I think it was one of those ones where you kind of get away with one and then do it again, you're in trouble. Whereas Carlos actually going up the inside and making contact, that is a penalty, especially because it kind of broke Oscar's wing as well. So I think Sainz should get a penalty for the collision because he was out of control when going for the move, basically.
Yes.
Absolutely. Next question, Kev1_LT. What do we make of Yuki being ahead in a V-carb of Stroll in an Aston in the championship? What do we?
Wait, the fuck? There must we actually see. Where do we have it? Yeah, Stroll. Oh, this is the race. We need driver standings. Yuki Tsunoda with 14 points and Lance Stroll with 9 points. Yeah, that's something. Hulkenberg soon have more points than Lance Stroll.
Make of that? I think what we make of
it. Back to
that is that Lance Stroll is being Lance Stroll and Yuki Tsunoda is doing very, very well. It's no different Lance Stroll to last year in the sense of what he's delivered so far.
He should leave also.
Yuki Tsunoda, on the other hand, was being slandered only yesterday because Daniel Ricciardo was putting in an amazing sprint performance. But what Yuki Tsunoda did is deliver an incredible full feature race, whatever you want to call it. So for me, I don't think we don't need to talk about Lance Stroll anymore. We're all very aware of how little he's kind of performing at this current stage, and contributing to the team, to the sport. But with Yuki Tsunoda, I'm glad to see he's bounced back after what looked like some Daniel Ricciardo momentum. But it's since gone back to Yuki again. It's constantly chopping and changing, and it's not like it's a couple of positions here. It's either incredible or disastrous at VCARB.
Yeah, Yuki turned it round really because he actually ended up getting a point in the sprint despite his awful qualifying. And then to get P7 again, I think obviously Lando rightfully gets driver of the day and plaudits and stuff. and despite Bottas for some reason getting 12% of the vote, I think Yuki would probably be someone that should be like second on that list, along with maybe like Oscar Piastri, because I think Yuki drove a really good race. He beat a Mercedes, picked up a load more points, and just a really, really good drive from Yuki Tsunoda again. And yeah, very, very impressive indeed. I think it's another one of those drives where it was kind of like, after that mistake, and he had a bit of a bad sprint qualifying, and it was like, oh god, here we go again. And then he remembered I said biggest flop, and he was like, no, actually I'm going to be really good now.
Yeah,
I'm very pleased.
Popped in a P7 just so you don't get a point, because biggest flop is my territory, but we'll get on to that.
Absolutely.
I also think we should definitely throw in the fact that through all of this chaos, through Lando Norris winning the race, Esteban Ocon got a point for Alpine. Alpine are finally off the mark, and they've scored a singular point, and Ocon drove very well today. Lots of moves out there, and
too much moves against Gasly.
And fought with Alonso at the end. Didn't come out on top in that battle, but those two not as, let's say, at each other's throats as perhaps some people suggest, because they posted a picture afterwards, didn't they?
I know, the wholesomeness of that Grand Prix continues. The fact that Ocon and Alonso posting a selfie being like, that was a good battle. And one thing that they didn't even show in the highlights that I didn't even remember until I was going back through the Twitch VOD to send a clip over for us to make, was I forgot the most unbelievable battle between the two Alpines that went side by side through every corner.
Yeah, the watched people took so long time to see that.
It's not even in the highlights. They don't show it because it kind of...
Why?
I know, it was amazing. And I don't know how they didn't crash. They gave each other just enough room. And I don't understand how they went through that chicane, because that chicane is a one car... is barely even one car wide. And the fact that they went side by side through that whole sector, unbelievable stuff.
It's like in the Avengers, where there was like 1.7 million scenarios or whatever it is, and one outcome where they don't crash, and we saw that.
Yeah,
genuinely.
Definitely.
I don't know. I mean, it's an amazing battle, but it also tells you everything you need to know about their rivalry. They're both in the same team. They were in a decent spot to potentially score a point. They went, F this. Yeah. I am going to get ahead of you no matter what. But it was fair. It was hard. It was very, very close to contact. But it was fair.
It was fair.
I actually can't think of better wheel-to-wheel racing. We've seen...
Wait, wasn't Kevin Magnussen and Lewis Hamilton super fair, fun racing? Right?
Pretty long time. It's right up there, and I can't believe it's not even in the highlights.
Yeah, it's shocking, because it was so good. Like you say, it's one of those where it's so... It's aggressive, but it's respectful at the same time, and you're not just basically running your opponent out of road. So, yeah, well done, Gasly and Ocon, and especially Ocon for getting points.
If they tried to run them out of road, they would have been in the wall. So I guess that's the only thing, is that there was no runoff, so they couldn't do that, which is lovely. Next,
if they had done, there would be a lot more pushing.
Question? No, there is no questions. It's straight on to biggest winner, driver or team.
Norris.
I wonder
McLaren.
Who's going to get biggest winner this week? Could it be Lando Norris?
Yeah, it's Lando.
Of course, you've thrown in.
I just wanted to see your reaction.
I'm going to say Daniel Ricciardo, actually. Biggest.
Känn dig bäst på jorden. Välkommen ut till granngården.
No.
Sa du förebygg mjäll?
Ja, precis.
Men då behövs väl inte du?
Ha inte mjäll. Förebygg det istället.
You're not neither.
Sprint winner. Daniel Ricciardo. It has to be Lando Norris.
It's got to be Lando.
He's won his first race. What a moment. What a special feeling for him. And biggest loser.
Bottas.
I believe... No, he nearly got driver of the day, so don't disrespect him like that. 12% of the vote. Where did that 12% of the vote come from?
I don't know.
I need to know, at what point did we ever think Bottas deserved driver of the day?
It must have been a glitch.
It's the most ridiculous thing. I think even Martin Brundle was like, Bottas? What's he doing up there? It was so weird. But
they did a great drive.
Magnussen, surely.
Magnussen, well, no, he won our hearts.
Yeah, he did.
No,
he was
fuck him.
The star, wasn't he, really?
He was the star. Can we give him biggest
Aston
loser?
Martin
Probably.
don't look great, but I guess Alonso got a point.
Logan Sargent in the wall again.
Maybe Williams for just like
points.
still not scoring a point when now Alpine have scored as well, and has scored this weekend, and RB are pulling away. I think Williams, the fact that they've still not got a point and not a great weekend. Albon had that big lock-up where I thought he was going to cause a safety car at the end. Logan got taken out the race.
Oh, try
exactly.
Maybe
so
Williams.
Let's go with Williams for that then. So unfortunate for Williams, and we now move on to our predictions, which we made on Wednesday. It is currently 16-15 to me, and we'll start with biggest good surprise, where we both went for Valtteri Bottas, who, well, look, half a point for second in driver of the day vote. I think we deserve it. No, 0 points. Valtteri was the most anonymous driver I think I've ever seen. We were like, low grip, bit of a difficult track. Right? But he was shocking.
We both had the logic. He was awful. Like, all weekend he was terrible.
He nearly lost to Magnussen. That's saying something. So no points for either of us for Valtteri Bottas. Biggest flop. Oh my God. I went for Max Verstappen.
Fair.
Shall I drop the PO box now for people to send gifts to say thank you, or?
It's impressive, and you know, I think I said this in funniest tweets that people will go, "Oh, how can you give him biggest flop because he's second?" It's like he has averaged first in everything: the sprint, qualifying, and the race all season. And, and we joked about, you know, oh, even if he, you know, qualifies second or something, or doesn't win the sprint, it'll be biggest flop. But
he had already enough, so that's the biggest flop.
It's not a bad weekend, but it has to be biggest flop because he has been so dominant for so long. So
yeah, thank you, Tommy.
He DNF'd recently, so no
corner for me as a Max fan. I appreciate you. I'm not going to fight your corner for your biggest flop though, because it's absolutely dreadful.
No, I thought I was onto something after sprint qualifying, thinking, oh, my logic is right, and then, like you say, he remembered and was just like, no,
who's
I'm
he?
Yuki,
you need to announce it.
Yuki Goat Noda, and just decided to
Yuki Goat Noda.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tommy went for Yuki Tsunoda, for those wondering. So there you go.
If you can work out from Yuki Goat Noda.
Yeah, Yuki Goat Noda. Just wanted to clarify. I know that could easily be anyone. So 0 points for Tommy there, but 1 for me. Right, this is where Tommy he cashes in with his boring sprint shootout. I can't believe how close I was. By the way, do I get 2 points because I did Max Verstappen biggest flop? And it's like technically
go on, I'll give you 2 just because we need to Massey it.
Let's Michael Massey this. Right, okay, 2 points for me for that because if you go against Verstappen, I think that's fair. Sprint shootout, I went for Charles Leclerc, 1/10 off. After spinning an FP1, I did not think it was even a hope in hell. So half a point then?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, Tommy, you
I went for
Max.
Thank you very much.
Well done. I hope you're happy with the money. Sprint winner, I went for Charles Leclerc. Again, second place, half a point. Thanks.
No, I went for Max.
No points.
Thank you very much.
You went for Max. Well done. Hope you're happy with another piece of the pie. In pole position, I went for Charles Leclerc, and again a tenth and a half off.
Yeah, Charles Leclerc could have, better than other qualifying he have done. He was at least up there now. But man, would be great for some pole position for him soon.
Shoot me, no points, and Tommy went for
Max Verstappen.
Well done. So you got 3 points on the bounce for being a boring sod. So top 3. Oh my God, we are so bad at this. Third place, I went for Perez. No.
P3.
Oh shit, what did I go for? Let's see. Did that say no race? I don't know what I said. Either way, it must have been at least in the max P1 or P2. Most likely hoping for P2, probably P1. And then Sergio Perez P3, but no, I don't feel like would have got right there.
Went for Lando Norris, underestimated him.
Wow. Yeah, that is... I mean, I can't believe you went for third, mate. That's crazy. Second place, I went for Charles Leclerc, and that was not correct either.
Nope. I went for Carlos Sainz for P2, and that was also not correct.
And then I went for Max Verstappen P1 because that's the one thing I didn't put all of Charles Leclerc's eggs in the basket, and it's the one time he didn't bloomin' win.
Wow.
What an idiot. But it's fine. I was hedging my bets thinking this was where the 1 point was going to come in and not for the...
yeah, exactly.
But instead, it's flown in, so I'll take it.
And I also went for Verstappen P1, and it was incorrect.
Wow, 0 points against a P1 for the main race. That is crazy. So, we now go to one crazy prediction. Oh, God, I forgot about that, and it's wrong. We will have at least 4 DNFs, is what I said.
It was only Logie.
Only Logie? How many DNFs
Don't you dare add the sprint to it.
How many I'm pretty sure I even prefaced this.
2.
Miami sprint results. Was it 2?
I think it was Stroll.
No.
Norris.
Oh, yeah, it was Stroll and Norris. God damn it.
Okay,
I can't even
not quite.
do that.
Can't even get the cheeky
God's
extra.
Sake.
And I went for Kevin Magnussen destroys the world and is banned for life. No, I went for Kevin Magnussen makes SQ3 or Q3.
Oh, he did, didn't he? No, he didn't. He was like 11th or 12th, wasn't he? And then
he was really
like
close.
3 spots
After
right
the
at start.
first sprint, I think it was SQ1, he was right up there in like 5th or something. It's like, oh my god, this is coming true. And then no. So we're equal.
That makes us equal on 18 points each as we head into Imola. The 3 crazy predictions from you, wonderful lot. First and foremost, Dan Cataloni, Sargent in the points. We finished P10 in the sprint, but that is not a point, I'm sorry. Hard to believe Alonso back on the podium. Absolutely not. And Night Owl 0208, we will see a last lap overtake for the podium.
Nope.
No, we did not see that either.
Not last lap, but lost after the last pit stop.
And that pretty much sums up that. It was a race that has created a new winner. Was Miami a banger, Tom Bellingham? What are your final thoughts?
I think the race was really good. I think people maybe need to slow down on the kind of like, oh my god, 'cause I saw them saying on Sky like, this just shows Miami's a really good track, and I'm like, does it though? Don't. Like, I think you could say that about like, I think Vegas proved that because it actually produced good racing, whereas this
don't be fucking retarded.
I think there was circumstances involved.
You've just seen one race. What do you say? Las Vegas is good now? Fucking retard.
That made it a good race, like.
Yeah, realistically, Lando won by 7 seconds. We had no overtaking in the top 4 positions, and of course the midfield was kicking off a little bit, and it did make it good. But
it is an enjoyable race because it was tense and stuff.
The reason you would call it a banger, and why I called it a banger at the time, was because Lando went into the lead, and that for F1 2024 circumstances is a banger.
There was some decent overtakes and things during the start of the race and stuff like that, and there were things going on. But yeah, I'm not going to sit here and pretend it's the greatest racetrack in the world now. It's just finally delivered an enjoyable race. So well done.
2 enjoyable races as well.
Yep. And then
Miami.
Well done, Miami.
Like 0. We'll have 2 races, and we'll deliver for both of them.
I hope the people that paid $190 for fruit was worth it. That they were treated to a good race.
God. Yeah, absolutely outrageous. At the Hard Rock Stadium. And that pretty much sums it up. Thank you, everybody, once and always, for being a part of this P1 journey where we have witnessed Lando Norris taking his first...
Okay, No, fuck that. F1 journey, I would say I'm grateful for, not the P1 journey. That's shit. Fucking boring.
First ever Grand Prix victory. Sorry, it's literally 1:20 in the morning.
Oh my God.
Words are failing me now. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you soon. Tomorrow, technically, maybe, for driver ratings. That's the next thing that'll come out. And then I'm sure we've got some more things to chat about before Imola. So,
Magnusson will have a...
See you soon.
10 of 10.
Is a Grand Prix winner. Goodbye.
Bye. Well done, Lando.
But Charles can win the next one now. Lando's had one, that's fine. We've ticked that off the list. Now it's time to see Charles back on the top
No, I've
again.
missed Max winning, to be fair.
Oh, shut your high hole.
Magnusson will win that easily. Okay, go away. And now it's time for the race. The McLaren car overall key to Schockland and Norris F1 win.
Max Verstappen's finally been beaten in a race he finished in 2024, and the shock winner wasn't driving a Ferrari either. Take a bow at McLaren's Lando Norris. There's no doubt Norris got a huge slice of good fortune to help him over the line in the Miami Grand Prix. Without Kevin Magnussen wiping out Logan Sargent's Williams and triggering a safety car at just the point all the other front-running drivers apart from Norris had made their pit stops, Norris would have had to overtake some cars in the way, chase Verstappen down and do the almost impossible thing of actually overtaking a Red Bull for victory. So this was just a lucky result for a driver and a team that didn't really deserve to win, right? Well, it's not quite as simple as that. McLaren had hopes of winning at some point this year, but it was slightly out of nowhere that in Miami it suddenly had a car that looked genuinely capable of running with the lead.
Thanks for the bad track that didn't make you so you can use the tires like you want.
Red Bull not just beating the slower second one. In fact, its heavily upgraded car looked so fast at times that Red Bull was genuinely worried about Verstappen being beaten in a straight fight. Norris had to drive incredibly well to recover from an opening stint on the back foot and a very difficult weekend building up to the Grand Prix itself. But Red Bull and Verstappen also needed to be below their usual best.
True, like Singapore.
This was probably Verstappen's least convincing weekend of the season so far on a track where he
also maybe did a pit stop too early.
Absolutely destroyed the field in 2023. Apart from when his car let him down in Australia, Verstappen's been pretty much imperious in every race so far in 2024, but Miami wasn't like that. Yes, he got pole for the sprint, won the sprint, got pole for the Grand Prix and led half of the Grand Prix too before that safety car showed up. But the margins were very tight all weekend and Verstappen never looked at ease with his Red Bull. Once Norris got ahead, he was just plain faster. Since F1 introduced these ground effect regulations for 2022, you can count the number of races Verstappen's been genuinely outpaced without using all the fingers on one hand. Norris pulled more than 7 seconds on Verstappen after the safety car restart in Miami. And even before he got ahead, Norris was catching Verstappen when both were running in clean air. It's possible that Verstappen was hamstrung by some underfloor damage picked up when he ran wide at the chicane and struck a plastic bollard, but Max himself clearly didn't want to detract from Norris's pace because he reckoned his car and his speed was the same after that incident. As for Norris, he was so confident in the pace of his upgraded McLaren that he could run a much longer first stint than the others. The safety car intervention was then decisive and was so perfect for Norris as it didn't come out of the pits in time to pick him up, so he gained even more time on Verstappen and the rest and guaranteed he'd rejoin in the lead. But McLaren would still have been a threat for Red Bull to monitor without the safety car, even with Norris facing the prospect of being back behind several other cars again. And he was tracking for at least a podium before things swung his way even more.
And for his luck, he succeeded to win. Time to skip that.
There was forewarning of McLaren's prodigious speed during sprint qualifying on Friday. Norris was fastest of all in the first 2 segments of that session, and the lap time he set to top SQ2 wasn't beaten by anyone until Verstappen and Charles Leclerc went a few hundredths of a second quicker in Q2 the following day. That in itself is incredibly unusual. Verstappen was having to work uncharacteristically hard to extract lap time from his car and was constantly surprised to be somehow ending up fastest in the sessions that mattered. The Miami track was running hot all weekend, close to 50 degrees Celsius at times. It's also a relatively smooth street-style circuit, featuring long straights, lots of slow corners and not many fast ones. Pirelli elected not to bring its softest C5 compound to this race, which meant the cars had to work the tyres hard to get them up to temperature. But the combination of a low grip surface and cars running trimmed out downforce levels for better straight line speed meant the tyres were never really working properly.
True.
They were sliding across the track rather than gripping it, overheating the surface of the tyre.
So if this wouldn't have happened, Max would have easily won this.
And then creating a negative spiral of low grip that made the line between a fast lap and a complete mess absolutely razor thin. Everyone, including Verstappen, was battling against this paradox, that driving carefully and within the artificial limit imposed by the tyres was actually faster than pushing harder, as the drivers usually do as the race weekend progresses, in the expectation the track will offer more grip. This track, in combination with the tyres, just refused to do that. It caught Norris out too, and explains why in a car that was clearly quick enough to challenge for pole in sprint qualifying, he only qualified 9th, and for the main race, only qualified 5th. What we saw in Sunday's Grand Prix, particularly after the safety car, was a further manifestation of that phenomenon. The Red Bull is built to look after the tyres and protect them from degradation over a race stint. It usually struggles to fire up the fronts as a consequence of this, particularly in qualifying. Miami was more about generating tyre temperature without sliding around and overheating the tyre surface. It was clear once Verstappen had to restart the race from second place on the hards that he wasn't going to be able to get those front tyres working properly and balance the two axles. The McLaren
will they give any information if Max Verstappen pitted too early?
By contrast, is much better at firing up the tyres and giving them core temperature. We saw this clearly when Norris claimed sprint race pole in wet conditions in China, without the need to push to the absolute limit.
Only he did the pit stop in the... what's called Virtus safety car. Everyone else waited.
Limit in the race in Miami, Norris was in a much happier place than he was in qualifying, able to get his tyres working relatively well compared to Verstappen, and then able to pull away to victory once he got track position over the Red Bull. McLaren's immense development trajectory has been key to its turnaround since this race last year.
Yeah, where do we have Mercedes?
Both drivers were eliminated in Q1 at a track that ruthlessly exposed its car's weaknesses. This season's result was at least partly possible because of McLaren's first major package of the season. The list of new parts on the MCL38 was extensive, spanning the car's nose to tail, under and over. A new front wing, revised front suspension geometry and front brake ducts give what is claimed to be better airflow control, and there are changes to the rear wing and brake duct winglets to better exploit that. The bodywork and engine cover have been reshaped with a new side pod inlet that required changes to the cooling system to accommodate, and a reshaped Coke bottle section towards the back. These work in conjunction with a new underfloor. This was all conceived to deliver what the team believes will be a very significant increase in load in all conditions, with even the front suspension tweaks being predominantly an aerodynamic benefit. McLaren didn't envisage this as quite as big a step as its season transforming 2023 upgrade packages, which really started in Austria and brought about a second in lap time over the whole season. But it was anticipated to be a good gain, and that is what McLaren saw. Ironically, the McLaren package...
Still, nothing that Mercedes will... I don't know, will I ever see anything like McLaren have done? Or even Ferrari? I think, didn't Mercedes have upgrades to this race? And they are still nowhere. Not even close to... Wait, how did they even get any podiums this season? No, I think the sprint podium, but that's, I wouldn't say a podium. Oh, we can actually see. Formula 1 points. Let's see. Do we have any podiums in the... Yeah. No. The sprint, but he now got P2. But that doesn't count. At least on the Google's when you search point stuff in Formula 1. It's a big 0 for him. That's nice. So no real podium for Lewis Hamilton / Mercedes. And here we have a McLaren with a Mercedes engine winning a race. And they have also we can do this. Here we have 3 for Norris and also a victory. Nothing for Piastri yet. That's sad. And here we have a steer for Russell and big steer for Lewis Hamilton. Hopefully Aston Martin will get maybe a podium. But man, they are... Have they finished... Let's see. What have Lando... not Landon Norris. Races... Bahrain. Where do we have... Okay, we need to pause the game. Where do we have Alonso? Fernando Alonso P9, so 2 points. Fernando Alonso P5, so 10 points. Okay, P5 is the best for now. P8. P8. P6. P7. So P5 is the best one. We have a P9 again. So P5 is the best one for now. So probably not Aston Martin this year. If they don't do like an upgrade like McLaren did in the last year after the summer break and come in with an upgrade when they started to almost winning races. But Mercedes, will they ever succeed with this? No, probably not. And then when Lewis leaves, it will just get worse.
It probably didn't show its full value on a track like Miami. The McLaren still has a slow corner weakness, and these upgrades did start to address that, but as we've explained previously, that is a year-long project that won't be complete until 2025. So while Norris...
Year-long... Oh my god. And what do Mercedes have? A 3-year-long project to make their car good. Oh, new fish for the collection. We need to go 529, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Did I count that right? We have 5, 10, yeah, 13. 13 more. 500. 40. 12. Plus 13. 1. The 30. Less than 2. It should be right. 542 fishes for the collection. $542 8 is 50, 58, 158. So 2,158 more fish is needed. That's nice. Fuck. Is the wiki lying? Oh, black. Black. The wiki is lying. For fuck's sake. Where do we have it? Information, give me... No, too far. Okay, here. Let's see. The color black does not appear in any nature-spawned tropical fish. Signs that eyes are usually hard to see. They're also into the combination. So, do it not, or should it spawn? Because I've seen... Yeah, I mean, I've seen it now. Here we have it. A blackfish. So, do it not, or do it spawn? We need to go... Remove the flash. And then we need to go back for the buckets. And then we can place down the fixtures in the chest room. Okay, back to the race.
Norris was very competitive on a track that has a lot of awkward slow corners. That was mainly because of McLaren running a smaller rear wing than normal and optimising its mechanical setup for the slowest parts of the lap. This helped offset the deficit it has had by not being as aerodynamically efficient as the likes of Red Bull. But within that, there was something that the upgrades played into. Developing areas like the floor and side pods mean the car has more downforce than before, but in a more efficient way because it's not just from bigger wings. That extra load being produced by other parts of the car is what allowed McLaren to run a lower drag rear wing to be stronger on the straights while still being competitive in the corners. Norris was running the full upgrade in Miami, while Oscar Piastri's spec was jokingly described by
How will Oscar Piastri have ended the race if he had the upgrade? Could he be... No. Could he been the winner from the McLaren if he had the upgrades? And then Norris without a first sprint race win and then a Grand Prix win. I mean, when did he join? It must have been last year. Can it be so early? Where do we have the information? Uh, 2022. Huh, 2022 Ricardo in McLaren. So it was last year when Oscar Piastri was in McLaren for the first year. That's so weird. Latifi was year before. Nick de Vries. De Vries. Do you really spell it right there? Apparently. Lewis Hamilton P3. And where is now P9? So beautiful. Okay, back to the race.
McLaren CEO Zak Brown as Upgrade Light before he gets the full version at Imola. That's the next race and is actually when both cars were originally due to get this package, and it was a massive effort by McLaren to bring it forward. Norris and McLaren boss Andrea Stella credit part of this performance to the development, so it is absolutely conceivable that without this early upgrade, the car would simply not have been quick enough to cash in on the opportunity this race presented. But that doesn't mean this McLaren is ready to be a regular Red Bull beater. Verstappen had his own issues, and Stella's not comfortable stating that the Miami race was a real representation of McLaren's future pace. He reckons McLaren needs another upgrade like this to fight Red Bull consistently, and that's not coming anytime soon. But this at least was a...
Yeah, well, still, where is Mercedes? Will they succeed to do anything good? I mean, they can't make. They can let teams under them with their engine still beating them. It really looked bad. Let's go to Wolf from 43. Yep.
Much greater validation of the team's development than any.
Also, how do McLaren succeed to make a good car and Mercedes can't? Wait, do we see a Mercedes now?
Engine supplier Mercedes
Yeah, we see it. Yeah.
had, because it had its own smaller upgrade in Miami, looked
Yeah, small upgrade, and what did it do?
as underwhelming as usual, and now has barely half the points McLaren has in the championship.
Amazing. Lewis Hamilton is so blessed by this team. Brinley. Do we have any Betty? Blockfish do we at least have. Brinley and Blockfish. Oh shit, we have one more. Purple. Purple Blockfish. And that's a done, finally. So what did I have? What favored the McLaren, Verstappen struggles, intro, and then we have the white early upgrade, okay. And now Lando no wins no more. That's hype. Oh shit, we need those to sound.
Norris's win came at the 110th attempt, and he had recently taken the unwelcome record of most podiums without a victory. Really, that should never have been the case. His first win should have come way back in Sochi in 2021, when McLaren misjudged the situation, didn't anticipate a second more aggressive.
Oh my god, this is so depressing. He could have won against Lewis Hamilton. Where did I place the fish? Did I? No, I can't. No, there we have it. Purple. Man, I get a nice collection. Okay, back to the real collection. Brinley. Brown, pink. Oh.
Downpour, and Norris stayed out on slick tyres in the wet, so slid off the road and lost the win. That was the start of a strange narrative that Norris was basically a choke artist who couldn't deliver the result on the big occasions.
I mean, people, I mean, you can say that's somewhat true. After that, every time he have been close, like in qualifying, the start of the race, mistakes have been made, so it comes from actually real life.
But there hasn't been an opportunity for Norris to win a Grand Prix since, and Norris actually did a brilliant emphatic takedown of the criticism he's seen about him. He admitted this win is a weight off his shoulders, and Stella reckons the same goes.
Yeah, and that I believe that because of this win, fucking lightning strikes ruin everything. Or it ruin everything. Tree, close to tree, so tree, roof, just trees. Just get burned down. But yeah, thanks to this win, he can maybe will not have this. I must do this start good, or I need to do this quality really good to have a chance to win. Because he have already a win. Now he just do like he did a race. Cruise for a good start. Cruise to a good qualifying and a cruise with a car to an easy victory.
For McLaren as well, because the pressure to
something Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton will not being close to be able to do.
Produce a car capable of winning, and then Norris actually doing it, has grown over time. But Norris also took aim at his Lando no-wins critics, joking that he usually enjoys liking all the criticism and nasty comments he gets on Instagram, and that proving them wrong makes this victory all the sweeter. When Norris looks back on the time between Russia 2021 and now, he says that he sees missed pole positions, missed podiums, and a missed sprint race win in Qatar. He admits that, he knows he's hardly been perfect, and he's often extremely critical of himself for making errors in qualifying in particular. But he really doesn't believe he's blown a golden opportunity to win a Grand Prix, and we agree. There have been many occasions where he's driven exceptionally well and been rewarded with a podium, but nothing more. After all, Norris has finished second to Verstappen 7 times in the past 12 months. All he needed on those days was for something to trip up the Red Bull and he'd have won, but that slice of fortune never arrived until now. Norris sincerely feels this was the first time the stars aligned for him. Stellar.
Yeah, they can actually say. I don't know, I think he did a bad start. You can say bad qualifying. And nothing you can say a bad race. At least in the end, he just cruised to a victory. So, but that was probably mostly because Max Verstappen had a really bad car, so he easily could cruise. Otherwise, he could maybe ended less fun.
Believes that too, adding that McLaren has finally provided Norris with a car capable of winning, and he's done exactly that at the first realistic opportunity.
Black, light, grey. Okay, go away. Black, light blue, thank God. Light. Okay, somewhere here. Where do we have it? Black. No more dasher. Either way, we move this stuff away. Light. That one also. Brown, black. Go away. Where do we have the black one? Light blue. Didn't I have light blue here? No, it was light black, light blue. Okay, what next? The Lewis Hamilton fish. Or the Mercedes fish. The flopper. Grey, light grey. Grey was it? Grey. Grey, 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 grey. Grey, grey. There were grey. Grey. Light grey. Magnanta. Goddammit. Light grey. No light grey. Thank you. And then we have red purple. Oh, there we have our first one. Well, our first one. Our first one in this collection I come with. Wait, spotty. Didn't I have a super? There, yellow, orange. Yellow, nope. Yeah, they were like yellow. Yellow, light green. Do we have any? Then one we can remove for now, but I really need more chests. Then we pick this up. Okay, what do we have left? Spotty, Magenta Grey. Magenta Grey. Magenta Grey Green. And then we have Grey. Oh, nice. Grey Cyan. Orange. Brown. Oh, they have one more. Orange, brown, orange, brown. -2. Magenta black. Nope. There we have. God damn it. Couldn't. Okay, what did we have more? Cyan. No. Cyan purple. -3 lime yellow. Lime. No. Sunstreak. Lime yellow. Lime purple. Lime purple. Lime yellow. Okay, -3. Okay, we have glitter first to make sure I'm not fucking brain dead. Red purple. Same. Spotty. Orange, brown. And then we have cyan. Cyan purple. Yep. -3. So 540. -3. Okay, and while we go back to place them down in the, I don't know what to call it, where I have the turtles. We will listen to Kym Illman, Lando Norris' first F1 win in Miami GP. Yeah, first F1 win overall that he got in Miami GP, but sure.
Well, g'day guys. Today was one of
mate.
the mightiest days I've ever had photographing Formula One. We had Lando Norris's first win, and the whole paddock was taken over by Donald Trump.
Yeah, Kym Illman said something about trumping there, but that's America.
And the whole
True
paddock was
America,
taken over by Donald
living.
Trump. More in a moment.
Yep, wrong side.
You only win your first race once, and today was Lando Norris's turn, and what a buzz it was for this young British-Belgian driver. Now, you've probably seen the race or you've heard about it, so I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to go to what happened after the race, because from the moment he crossed the finish line to the end of the celebration, I was with him for all but 10 minutes. So let's start out when he parked his car up in Parc Fermé, which for the three top drivers was on the track. He got out of his car, saluted the crowd, jumped off, was congratulated by Max Verstappen, and Charles went over and had a quick chat with him too before he went to move off the track. And to my left, because I was right on the fence, I could see Fernando Alonso arriving. And I thought, that's interesting. Still got their helmets on, both of them. And Fernando congratulates Lando right there on the track. A minute or so later, he's entered the pit lane, and then he's put down his helmet and his hands device, and he's just run at his crew, who were positioned on that fence, jumped into their arms, and then ensued a minute or two of absolute joy for the young driver. I was so thankful I was where I was, enabling me to get these pictures of the driver being thrown around by his...
Hey, sometimes lucky. Standing where it's needed to get a good picture.
His crew. So once he gets back down on his feet, he gets...
And also, I wonder how big cut he will get now on the nose after winning a race. Now this he got after maybe getting P2. What will he get after P1?
By his crew. So once he gets back down on his feet, he gets hugs from Zach Brown, Andrea Stella. And as he walks away from the crew, I see Daniel Ricciardo make his way over to Lando. And of course, Daniel's taken off his helmet and he's hot and sweaty. And he scores another hug from his Australian mate. And while this is going on, all the other drivers are waiting in a line to get weighed. And if you're wondering what this is, I can tell you this is a very exciting book. This was delivered to me today to my hotel. It's called Sand, Sunsets and Speed. It's Race Weekend's brand new book, and it's a monster.
Vad hände egentligen den där natten i maj 1973 när en kvinna brutalt mördades på vägen hem? Hennes sista steg, en ljudserie av mig, Denise Rudberg.
Bara på Storytel. Nya Rexona Advanced Protection aktiveras av kroppsvärme. Så oavsett hur varm du blir, skyddar Rexona effektivt mot lukt och svett. Rexona Advanced Protection skyddar dig i 72 timmar.
This is not an ordinary book.
God, I thought this was the third ad, but it's his own ad.
It offers an immersive experience by seamlessly blending breathtaking photography and art with a specially curated soundtrack by F1 superfan and Grammy Award-winning DJ T.S.
It's really an ad. Okay, fuck that.
Oh. Let's get back to the podium celebration now, and for us to get to the podium, it's on the other side of the stadium, so we have to get into bus.
I mean, I watch his normal ads. No need for watching the in-game ads.
Make a trip that should only take 40 seconds, but unfortunately there's a whole lot of security and we get held up for a couple of minutes, and there was much screaming and shouting, but eventually we made it to the podium and waited for the first two drivers to be called out, and then it was Lando Norris's turn, and boy didn't he jump around. He was full of beans and it was a real joy to watch. Now, we don't see that with a Max Verstappen win, and to be fair, if Lando was celebrating his 100th win, you wouldn't expect him to be bouncing around, but it was just a lovely thing to see. Then it was time for the national anthem, and normally we get two, don't we? We get the Dutch for Max, and then we get the Austrian for Red Bull. This time we only got one, because Lando and McLaren are both British, so we only got the single national anthem. Then it was time...
That was so weird. First time I think first time I've been part of that. Just seeing it once. So weird.
Time for the trophies, and yes, Lando threw his in the air before the champagne came out, and then Lando didn't actually open his bottle, well, explode his bottle, until the other two had had their turn, and then pretty much in the centre of the podium on his own, bang, up he went with his trademark smashing of the bottle on the deck. The four of them posed for their pictures, and then the three drivers were taken out the back. Then we had to make our way back to Parc Fermé, but luckily the drivers were held up in an ante-room somewhere, I guess, to cool down. Lando did not, though, wipe the champagne off him. He wanted to keep it on. So the next thing...
No, so he would be really smelly after that. And also, that would be something funny if the first race win podium the trophy he gets, he celebrates and then do his famous hit the floor and he falls down and gets destroyed like Max Verstappen's trophies. Wouldn't that be something? If that first one had the same fate as, I don't know how many trophies, I think 2 at least. Max Verstappen's trophies got broken.
Now I see as Lando roll up in this very brightly coloured, is this a moke? I think it is. He's made a couple of calls on the way apparently, and he's got out of the car and gone into the TV media pen. At that point I see Carlos heading out of the TV media pen. I also see his girlfriend Rebecca Donaldson in front, so I figure at some point those two will catch up, and yes they did, and I was not disappointed. This picture did extremely well on my Instagram page today. Then I headed up to Williams to get a drink, and I walk in and see on the TV his dad being interviewed by Sky, and of course his dad's wearing one of his Pure Scooter shirts. He's a clever marketer. After that, I went back to the
I mean, it's good marketing if you actually know what the fuck this is. Could be spot random t-shirt.
Dad's wearing one of his Pure Scooter shirts. He's a clever marketer. After that, I went back to the TV media pen. I found Lando's trainer, John Malvin, and his manager, Mark Berryman, enjoying a glass of bubbly, and with big smiles on their faces. Then it was off to await Lando coming out of the media pen. Martin Brundle from Sky grabbed him and talked to him almost all the way to the press conference room where he entered. The other two had been waiting there for some time. And then the questions came thick and fast. Almost all of them for Lando. Poor man.
That's mean. It's always to Max Verstappen. And Charles Leclerc.
Max and Charles hardly got a look in. A couple of things.
Yeah, Charles Leclerc usually sits there to just listen to when Max is talking. So, I mean, maybe this first time for Max to just sit and listen and maybe have nothing to say.
As I remember from that press conference were one, that he was going to pull an all-nighter. He said that Zach Brown had told him that we're not flying tonight. We're going tomorrow, so we're going to go out and have some fun. And he did actually mention that he may end up a little bit worse for wear, as he did.
Yeah, true. After P2, this happened. What will now happen after P1?
At his celebrations for King's Day, going back last week on Martin Garrix's boat. At 7:22, the press conference finished, and he walked back to the paddock, where a large crowd was waiting for him for the McLaren celebration. And McLaren celebrations are a lot tamer normally than, say, a Mercedes or certainly a Red Bull celebration. There's no spraying around by everyone of sticky Red Bull with McLaren. But after the 3 photo opportunities, he did find himself a Jeroboam of Ferrari sparkling wine. And at that point I thought, oh no, I'm going to get my cameras covered in this stuff, which is always bad news. But thankfully, he targeted all of his crew with the sparkling wine. And thereafter the media pack just surrounded him, and he proceeded to pour the bubbly all over himself. And hats on to Fred Vasseur from Ferrari, who actually took a front row spot to watch the celebration for Lando's win.
I mean, why wouldn't you? If you can, why not be part of the celebration?
And even agreed to wear a McLaren cap. Then he went and chatted with his engineers, did a selfie, and disappeared into the McLaren hospitality suite. Apart from the COVID year in 2020, I think I've seen all of Lando's races, including that one in Russia where he was on target to win a race, and then of course it rained. He didn't have the right tyres, and he blew it. I do remember the heartache he went through there. I do remember George Russell coming up to Lando and consoling him for a moment, but he did stay in that car for a heck of a long time. Well, that wasn't the case today. It was all joy and all excitement from a likeable young man. So that was one of 2 huge stories to come out of the Miami Grand Prix. And the race itself was pretty darn good. In fact, I was quite close to the crash between Kevin Magnussen and Logan Sargent. I took these shots of the cars coming close together, and then as I took my camera away from my eyes, I just followed it round, and I saw, right, that's the start of an accident. So I took off maybe 120 metres around the corner and captured Logan getting out of the car. Pretty sad for him. From my understanding, it wasn't his fault, but I Still don't think Logan.
Kevin Magnusson will get a race ban soon. I mean, come on, Fia. Make Kevin Magnusson can celebrate that he is the first one to get a race ban after the point system.
And is going to last terribly long, and I'll be surprised if he's still in the car in Imola. Now, getting on to the other big story, Donald Trump at the track today. I'll go through what happened
actually,
first.
what did he do? Did anyone interview him? I mean, someone should maybe have done that.
I'm going to go through the comments that I received on my Instagram post. So we get I guess a heads up that he's likely to be there at 1 or 2 p.m. I go out and shoot the drivers' parade.
They can actually be true statement because sprint races removed them. As long as the sprint races are in Formula 1, that slogan can still be used. Make Williams great again. Make McLaren great again. Don't make Mercedes great again.
Which takes place at 2 p.m. And then I come back early and I see all these people waiting outside of the McLaren garage. Now, I'd heard that McLaren were going to be hosting him. So I figure, well, I'll invest some time and wait in this queue. And then pretty quickly it became clear that there was a whole lot of Secret Service people milling around and they were moving people back. So we figure, yeah, we're onto something here. And the other thing that tipped me off was on the first floor, where there's normally a lot of people standing looking over, they cleared a section of about 50 metres where nobody can stand. There was only this fellow who was issuing instructions over his little two-way. At about 16 past 2, the security came along and pushed everyone back another metre or so, and at that point it became very clear that we were going to see Donald Trump. And sure enough, he emerged from this building, and there were security people left, right, and...
I wonder how much clearing they have to do every time we maybe go to McDonald's. Man. Or going through the drive-thru. Stopping the flow probably a lot.
Centre, but thankfully he stopped not too far from me, allowing me to get these pictures, and then continued on into the McLaren garage. I decided to wait out the back because I'm thinking, if he's gone in, he's got to come out. And of course, when he came out, they cleared an even wider area. They had police everywhere, and unfortunately, they'd timed it so poorly that all of the drivers were coming back from the drivers' parade. And of course, they're greeted with 7 or 8 deep crowds, and the police won't let them through. So in the end, somebody just had to shout, "Lewis is here, we've got to let Lewis through." And luckily, he and a few other drivers were allowed through. And then Donald emerged from the garage, once again stopped not too far from me, actually looked towards the guy next to me who was videoing. Well, he thought he was, but he actually forgot to press the record button, and then he headed back in from...
No. Unlucky. You had your opponent. Fuck me. One job. And you're fine.
Where he came. The thing that grabbed me were these 4 guys here, heavily decked out with all sorts of military sort of cape.
Is a school shooting already happening? Or why so many police with weapons?
And commanding quite a bit of attention. So that was Donald Trump's takeover of the F1 paddock. Now, I posted a picture because my job is to tell you what happens at the track. Well, I can't believe the negative comments on here.
Windows. Safety stuff. Did they hear me?
Bugger all about American politics. But 2 things absolutely floored me. One was the number of likes on the post. At the time of recording, it's in the order of 31,000 likes. But there are 1,200 comments. That's a lot for one of my posts. And almost all of them are scathing of the man. So I don't know what's going on here. You've got the vast majority of people commenting, hating him, but then there are 30,000 people liking the post. So America, I don't know what's going on in your country, but...
Really? Man, you're old. I mean, he is the biggest memer in the USA. I mean, how many people can say they made a meme by go for president, going for winning the president stuff and then actually also winning. And he's about to maybe win again. The greatest memer of all time.
Clearly, he is quite a divisive man.
The fuck have you been, Kym Illman? In your Formula 1 paddock too much?
He's loved and he's hated. But today he very much made the news here in Miami.
You don't say that.
Talked about security. I actually had a chat with the police too, because we had a lot of police presence. And last night when I left the track, we got stopped at the lights with a motorcade coming through. It was Valtteri Bottas with 2 motorcycles in front and a car.
That would be something. Valtteri Bottas between them on his bike. Get into Formula 1.
Behind, and I had a chat with some police today and said, what's the story? Who pays for all this shenanigans with escorts and police at the track? And they said, well, the organiser does. And I said, what sort of money do they pay? And he said, about $75 an hour per person. So the organiser's running up quite a bill on police. Other things today. Oliver Mintzlaff was here. He's the head honcho of Red Bull in Austria. He welcomed Adrian Newey and Amanda, his wife, at one point, and then I caught him having a long chat with Liam Lawson towards the back of the paddock out the front of the VCARB hospitality suite. The same place, earlier on in the day, I'd photographed Daniel Ricciardo's girlfriend, Heidi Berger, having a lovely time throwing an American football about. Did we see Patrick Mahomes today? No, I didn't see him, or his wife, Brittany, but he was there.
Wait, fuck me, did you say lovely time?
Photographed Daniel Ricciardo's girlfriend, Heidi Berger, having a lovely time throwing...
Lovely time, you say? Sure.
An American football about. Did we see Patrick Mahomes today? No, I didn't see him.
If that was a lovely time, man, her life must be really depressing now. If that's the biggest joy she have ever been part of.
Or his wife, Brittany, but he was there. Who did I see celebrity-wise? In fact, I had struggled a bit to find celebrities, but it was very busy on the grid. Oh, and Donald came out on the grid too and saluted when the national anthem was played and then was led away by Mohammed bin Sulayem. Oh, we had Claire Williams pop into the paddock today. I haven't seen Claire for... I'll tell you when the last time I took a photo of her was. 30th of November, 2019. She was walked in through the paddock and went straight to the Williams hospitality suite. I didn't see her leave, though. Also...
Wait, what? I hope he said Williams, right?
I didn't see her leave, though. She was walked in through the paddock and went straight to the Williams hospitality suite.
Yeah, that would be somewhat depressing if she went for another team. Wouldn't it look really...
I didn't see her leave, though. Also creating a bit of controversy at the...
Okay, I don't know why you stated that. That sounds really bad. She went in and never came out. You never said that to any cop? Any of the cops? Or called them?
Track today were 2 very popular on social media women models. One is Ivana Knoll, who you might remember created quite a stir going back to a World Cup when she dressed in Croatian colours in a bikini. And the other one is Veronika Radjak, who has been to F1 before, but today was in quite a remarkable outfit that offended some people. Not sure how many, but yeah, some people took offence to it. But there were plenty more who were quite enamoured with it. But this is Miami, and if those outfits are going to be at home anywhere, it's going to be in this city. Today was quite a remarkable day to be an F1 photographer. To be so close to Lando Norris for his very first win, having followed him for years, was quite a joy. And also seeing how the security works for a presidential visit. I think it'll be quite some time before I have another day quite like today. Now, I'm happy to see your comments below about Donald Trump, if you like him or not. I figure you're probably going to go the same direction as you did on the Instagram post, but hey, it's your opportunity to say whatever it is that is on your mind. And for a whole lot of extra content, you know where to go. Oh, and finally, I want to thank the organisers who not only did such a great job catering for us, food and drink-wise, but every one of us got one of these Miami Dolphins shirts. And have a look on the back. Thank you for watching, and stay passionate.
Yeah, and that information you should almost know without looking up. I would have said 2020. For I know 2021 was not a year I saw her. Or I would say I've never seen her. More buckets for the people that in need. God damn it. Where are you? There you are. Is it no light gray? Okay, one more swing around. Then we place down the fishes, count them, and then we end it. Because there is nothing more. Oh shit. There's go away, and there's nothing more to be seen, right? I mean, Ricardo roller coaster can maybe be seen. Yeah, we do it without. Let's see, did they drop anything? One more fish for the collection. And purple orange. And green orange is much more nicer to eat. Oh, there we have it. $550. No trident have been dropped in. Or no trident attack, I could say. More than 2 hours and no trident attacks. That's bad, man. Oh yeah, I went to sleep. I can maybe explain why less trident attacks happen. Nope. We're going down. And no more copper. Only 64 still. One color, goatfish, go away. Goat. Nope. No, really, did I never pick up that one? Nope. Oh. Wait, they're not 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, minus. No, plus 9, but it wasn't plus 10. 549 plus 9. One color. Nope. We have one battery. One. One loose Hamilton fish. Oh, one more Betty. Sunstreak. Spotty. And now we place them down. Black and red. Then we have light gray. Light gray. Eller light gray. Down. Flopper. Green, brown. Lime, brown. Lime, brown. Green. Lime white, lime brown. What do we have now? Purple, orange. Purple, orange. Light blue, gray. Light. Oh! Man, that took a long time to get second for the light blue. Light blue, black, light blue, gray. Stripey, magenta, lime. White, green. There we have white. White, orange, white, green. Then we have orange. No orange and yeah, still 549. Nice. Could be 550, but no. Oh, it didn't break. Yeah, we ended here. And how many days is this left for IndyCar? Where do we have it? IndyCar. Oh shit, I can actually go IndyCar. Dun 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 IndyCar. Yeah, 11th May. Sunzio Grand Prix, Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course, Indianapolis, Indiana. Let's see. Will it be? I want to share it in the car. In the car race. Okay, not early. It's late. And that will happen in 1, 2, 3. Four days? And why is on a Saturday? Weird. Well, after that it will be probably be some in-car talk, but until then I will say probably more Formula 1 stuff, more fish collection, more sadness.